Hey guys, Andy here from Mediocre Hobbies, bringing you my special Star Wars episode for May the 4th. Not really sure how my volume is coming through this. I'm going to take this thing off right now and then we're going to talk about what we're going to do today. That's better. That is not the way. Okay guys, so it is officially May the 4th, and as you know, it is Star Wars Day, Star Wars Celebration Day, and I hope all of you are engaging with that in some way or another, whether it's watching an episode of a cartoon, or whether it's watching one of the movies, reading a book, or painting some Star Wars miniatures like I'm going to do here today. Whenever I'm not painting a Games Workshop miniature, I do my best to try and explore other ranges of paints, as you've seen me do in the past. With this particular miniature, I just wanted to have some fun, and for that, I once again returned to the Duncan Rhodes Too Thin Coats range of paints because I genuinely really enjoy using it and have found that I'm getting pretty stellar results, at least for my standard, when I use them. This isn't a sponsored video in any way, shape, or form. They're not paying me to say anything like this. I just think that if you haven't tried them yet, I think it's about time you go out there and get yourself some of those paints and give them a try. I recommend just picking up 3 pots and try and get them in the triad colors. So that, you know, the 3 reds, the low tone, the mid tone, the high tone, that kind of thing, and giving them a whirl. You'd be surprised what kind of results you might get from those paints. The miniature that I'm going to be painting up here today is the limited edition Luke Skywalker from Star Wars Legion. He was released in 2020. He's wearing his jumpsuit from The Empire Strikes Back, standing on the icy base with his helmet on. And it's quite a special model. I got him a couple of years ago, and I've been looking forward to painting him ever since. And I thought no better time than right now. Before I get into it, I just want to say a huge thank you to all of my active patrons. Without you guys, I would not be able to continue doing what I'm doing. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys so much for that continued support. If you're interested in getting involved, there's links to my Patreon below. You get access to a private Discord server and an extra video every single week. So that's 52 extra videos a year, which I think is pretty good. All right, guys, without further ado, let's get painting Luke Skywalker. And here is the miniature in question. He actually comes with a couple of alternate pieces. He can be holding his blaster in his hand and have his lightsaber on his belt. He can be wearing his helmet with the visor down, or as if he's discarded his helmet. I went for the traditional one where he's fighting the AT-AT at the beginning of The Empire Strikes Back. So standing on the snow, helmet on, ready to fight. Like I said at the beginning, I am going to be leaning on the Too Thin Coats paint because I genuinely enjoy it when I'm having a little bit of fun painting. I really do enjoy the 3 color stage thing that they do, the triad of colors. So I'm going to go through that process again with each section of this model. No shades will be used, nothing like that. I'm just going to go straight in. So we're going to go for rust orange, and we're going to start that jumpsuit, a flight suit. The model was sprayed like a dusty white. And then that rust orange is then carefully applied. Usually when I'm doing contrast, you don't have to be that careful because we're going to be going over all the different parts later on. But due to the fact that we are trying to do the correct stages, 3 stages throughout the entire miniature, it's a good idea to be as neat as you possibly can be throughout the entire thing. It just makes picking out details a little bit easier, and then no other colors get polluted or stained due to messy painting. So here is the first coat of orange. Now what I tend to do with the Duncan Rhodes paints is I get the first stage done of a triad on all the models. So basically I put all the base coats down. Then, so for instance, like we're going for Griffon Claw, that's going to be for all the belts and straps and his little waistcoat. Once all the base coats are done, I then do the other 2 stages on each part. So I'll start with the jumpsuit, and I'll do the other 2 stages of that. Then I'll go to the white parts and I'll do the 2 stages on that until the entire model has been complete and is finished. Don't ask me why I do this. It's just I like having all the base coats on a miniature before I kind of move any further. I like getting a sense of what the model is going to look like at the end. And it also helps to make sure you didn't forget any pieces. If I, for instance, went 3 stages on the jumpsuit, and then as I was painting the vest, suddenly realized that, oh wait, that part is a bit of a jumpsuit. Suddenly I'd go back and do 3 stages on that. So you know what I mean? It just makes it a little bit easier. Doom Death Black was used for all of the black parts. So his boots, now technically his boots aren't black. In some of the images they're black, and in some they're not. They're weird boots with this like extra sleeve bit over the top. His boots are actually one of the most difficult things to try and figure out what they truly look like. Even going by set pictures, they're all over the place. So I went for traditional, just black. It was easy. Some of the references were black, and I do like the idea of black boots. Obviously the belt around his waist, his I I don't even know what it is on his chest, his air system or life support system, or the bit that plugs into the X-Wing. Give that all the straps. The bit that goes around the bottom of the helmet and some other buttony parts all got done with the black. Barbarian Brawn was then brought in as the first coat for the skin. Now see, there's only a tiny fraction of skin showing. Basically just the center of his face. The rest is all covered up. Okay, now we're going to go on to the rest of the orange. So Fanatic Orange is going to be the second coat. And obviously this is going to be a lot more deliberate than the first coat. I'm not going to be just, trying to get maximum coverage. I'm going to go for all of the highlight areas. So I'm going to leave all the recesses and creases and folds in the fabric nice and dark. And just hit all the flat kind of raised areas more with the Fanatic Orange. Just to pump the color up. I have found with Duncan Roan's paints, or Transatlantic Games paints, whichever way you want it, the Two Thin Coats paints, that from base coat to mid-tone isn't that much of a jump. Sometimes it's really hard to be for it to be noticeable. It is the mid-tone to highlight that it jumps quite high, and it can seem really scary when you put on those first few brush strokes. You think this must be wrong. It's not going to work. But I've found to just kind of follow through, power through with it, trust the process, and I've got really good results with that. So I'm going to do the same here, even though it's bright orange. I am going to go at it. Like I said, this time it's going to be basically the same as the last step, except for more highlighted. So obviously further away from the recesses, you're going to leave alone the kind of tips of fabric, the tops of the folds. All those kind of areas are going to be your highlight areas. That's going to use that orange for. Right now it looks a little bizarre, but trust me, when we follow through and do all the other bits, it will look really good. Ivory Tusk was the second coat on all of those white straps. Also his gloves, and I did the helmet as well, and then obviously his vest. Wanting to take my time, especially around the back of the vest, get all those ribs done without getting any of that second stage in any of those recesses. That will do wonders for selling the paint scheme and giving you that Star Wars feel to it. After that, we're going to jump up to Trooper White. Like I said before, I do exactly the same thing, except for just a little bit less. A few small highlights on all of those ivory parts. Soft brush strokes. That's what's going to get the job done. Being careful around parts like the orange and the black. Not something you want to have to go back and try and touch up. Speaking of the black, let's work on that. So we're going to start with the Dark Reaper, which is black with a touch of grey in it. Obviously we're going to highlight up the entire, every black surface on it, whether it be his boots or his belt or the strap of his helmet. All of those are going to get a light highlight with those colours. Thankfully on the boots there are loads of different straps and colours, so it is quite easy to highlight them. Having said that, we are going to jump up again and we're going to go for the Dungeon Stone Grey. This is definitely just a dark grey colour, and you can see clear that I'm just hitting the tops of the straps, tip of the shoe, and a few other sharp details that go around the model, straps that go around his chest area, the pouches on his belt. We just want those sharp highlights. Okay, the model is really starting to come together now. Dwarven Skin is going to be the stage 2 on his face. You know, the cheeks, the nose, the chin, the lips. These are the kind of areas that are going to get a coat of paint from this stage. After that, we are going to jump up to Elven Skin, and for that we're just going to go for the tips of the nose, the top of the cheeks, the sharp point of the chin, a little bit of the forehead and the lips. Like, these are the final highlight areas on a face. Okay, time to add some color to that helmet. It's too white at the minute, so we're going to start with the red. So the Berserker Red was used first, and we're just going to go for that stripe right down the middle of the helmet. And then there's these like two straps, which are like button things kind of over the right and left cheek, that are going to get a coat of red too. There is the Rebel Alliance symbol that is kind of meant to be on the helmet, but I cannot freehand the Rebel Alliance symbol, so unfortunately that's going to get left off of mine. Also appears to be some sort of chevron marking on the square at the front. Once again, that part is too tiny for me to attempt to do any chevrons on, so I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to jump over to the triad of yellows now, and that's just for the tip of the visor that we can see that would slam down into place to protect his eyes. But it's currently mostly up in the helmet. So just same thing, triad, solid coat of the first color, about halfway down for the second color, and then the edges for the third color. Give the visors a really nice look. Not too difficult, not too crazy. It is nice having those colors kind of picked out for you with the addition of the triad system. Surcoat Silver was used to just base coat in the lightsaber hilt. I did actually throw a black wash down over the top of this later on, but I did forget to film it. Do apologize. But yeah, all it was a coat of Surcoat Silver, and then the black armor wash was put over the top of that. The silver was also on the crashed part on the base. And then we are going to go to Frostheart, one of the new Gen 2 contrast paints, and apply this all over the base. My idea was that as I put on the technical paste for the snow, any bits that you can see through with that, you'll see that kind of glacier blue look of ice under snow. I thought I was being a big brain, very smart. The textured snow paste that I used didn't give as much coverage as I wanted. I did end up having to put in quite a thick coat of it to cover it. So maybe in the future I would have just left that white and just throw the snow over the top of that. I also used the Frostheart as a single coat over the lightsaber blade, which I think gave the perfect color for Luke's blue lightsaber. I did have Talazar blue pulled out, but realized that was going to be too dark, and there was still some of the Frostheart on the base, on the palette, and I thought it looked perfect. 8K terrain snow is what I'm going to use to apply snow texture to the base. I've been really enjoying the 8K range of texture pastes. They've pretty much replaced 90% of the bases that I do with the old texture paints from Games Workshop to these. They're just as good. They actually dry a little bit faster, and obviously there's a lot more bang for your buck when you need to base an entire army. Here is the miniature finished off with the snow texture applied, the red stripe down its helmet, all neat and tidy, ready to rock and roll and fight the Empire. I had an absolute blast painting this model up. Actually missed May the 4th last year and was gutted, and promised myself I would do it this year, so I am glad that I finally managed to get a model ready for it, and I hope you guys enjoyed this this video and this cool model. If you have any other ideas on Star Wars content, please let me know. And there we have it, guys. Luke Skywalker painted up to the highest ability that I can using the Duncan Rhodes Tooth & Coats range of paints. Absolutely loved it. Delighted with the result. I hope you guys are too. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a like. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, it would mean the world if you took 2 seconds out of your day and hit that subscribe button. It costs you absolutely nothing. Ask me any questions you want in the comments below, and I will get back to each and every one of you guys. I appreciate you sticking around to the end. May the Force be with you.